balance good, everything good.
Welcome to WhatGear Reviews, you Sony ninjas. Today I'm finally doing my long-term review on the Sony SRS RA-5000 360 reality audio speaker. And if you're wondering what 360 reality audio is, I'll link a video at the end of this video. Throw on some headphones, listen to that, and trust me, that will blow your mind. And that's not to say that you can't listen to regular stereo music on here. And in fact, there is a feature on this speaker that will allow you to emulate a 360 reality audio sound using any audio source. So 360 reality audio is a new file format. It's a very high quality file format. And this is the world's first speaker from Sony that's been designed specifically to reproduce that in the best possible way in a home scenario. And it does seem like at this point in time, only Sony are really embracing this new file format, but trust me, all of the other companies will follow suit in the next few years. So think of the Sony RA5000 speaker like a fountain of sound. Instead of beaming sound straight at you like a conventional speaker would, it uses angles and surfaces to rebound the sound up and down to deliver that 360-degree sound all around you. And Sony described the RA5000 sound reproduction as an ambient, room-filling sound. And I will give you guys my honest opinion on what I think of the sound quality towards the end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that. And full disclosure here, Sony did not send me this speaker. I spent my own money on it just so I could review it for you guys. So if I could get a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it.
So just do it!
So let's talk about the design here, or should I say, Sony's fashion choice. And yes, it does somewhat resemble a Gillette electric shaver.
The best of men to get.
But you know what else this thing looks like? It does kind of look like a very slim lady's waistline with, if you look at it from the right angle, a little bit of cleavage. So here's what I think happened here. Sony reached out to a bunch of different designers and ended up going with a fashion designer who drew a sort of bust like they always do when they design a dress or anything like that. And Sony said, that's it. That's exactly what we want. And that's what they went with. They've thrown on a bit of black netting all the way around. It's kind of a charcoaly black, which is good because it's not a fingerprint magnet. And then across the top, we have concave copper covers over the 3 upward firing 46mm drivers. And at its waistline is 3 more 46mm drivers. And around 3/4 of the way down is a very large subwoofer, 70mm downward firing subwoofer. And something I really like about this design, Sony haven't even neglected the base of the speaker. They've gone with the copper finish. They've got vents here and they're kind of angled so that that bass can resonate around in different angles around your room. So that's really fantastic too. And you'll notice here the port is in the middle and that cable can swivel 360 degrees. So you can have this pretty much in any direction in any room. And as you can see here, the speaker is ported so it can breathe a bit more, so that subwoofer can really resonate and push air around as much as possible. And you'll also notice there is the classic auxiliary jack, so you can plug in to the Matrix. No, it's not really for that, it's for your audio devices. And check this out, you've got your Nespresso NFC.
Sound calibration start. 3, 2, 1. Sound calibration complete.
And just below the port, we have the Nespresso NFC one-touch pairing point just here, so you can tap your phone on that and it will automatically connect over Bluetooth. But I will say Bluetooth isn't the best way to play music to this device. More on that a bit later. So let's talk about the onboard manual controls. So there are 3 sides to this story, and I can only assume the front side of this speaker is the side with the Sony logo and the iconic Sony light bar at its base. So on the left surface, we have the power button, the source button, the sound calibration button with some small print and LED light indicators across the top so you know what you're doing. On the right hand side of the speaker is the play pause, the volume up and volume down button. Now there is one issue that I've ran into using this speaker, and that's really down to its location in the room. So for example, if you have it on a table like this and you want to play pause or skip track or change the source manually, then actually what you have to do most of the time is turn the speaker around so you can actually see what button you're pushing. And that for me has been just a little bit inconvenient. And yes, before you say it, I do realize this speaker is designed to be at the center of a room, but there is another problem with that, because if you don't have an island with a power outlet in the middle of a room, your only option is to run the cable across the floor or have it on a side table like this, like I have here. And if you are going to run the cable across the floor, that presents a trip hazard. And also, more importantly, if you snag the cable and pull this off the table, there is a good chance you could potentially break your very expensive 360 reality audio speaker. And there was no remote control in the box, so the only other alternative is to control it over Wi-Fi. But don't think for a minute that if you don't have this in the center of the room, you won't get the best sound experience, because you will, thanks to its sound calibration software on board. So by holding down this musical note button, the RA5000 will send out waves of sound to calibrate its 6 drivers to account for its position in the room it's in, and the position it's in, whether it's up against the wall or at the center. It will then analyze the sound reflection and adjust the output to best deliver that 360 reality audio. But does it work? Alright, so I'm going to run a sound test here. What I'm going to do is play a track on the speaker. I'm going to twist the speaker around in a circle, see if you notice any changes. But this should give you a good idea of what most music is going to sound like on this speaker. You ready? I'll explain what I think a little bit later in the video, but let's talk about the usability side of things on the app. So the button issue is not an issue if you're going to use your phone most of the time. And using Sony's Music Center app, you can control the volume, you can control the EQ, which is fantastic, because if the sound isn't quite how you want it to be, you can fully go in there and manually adjust that sound. And I actually made a video all about how to adjust your EQ to get it right for yourself. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that at the end. But one of the greatest features here when it comes to the speaker is connectivity. So you can connect it to Google Chromecast, Alexa, so you can use your smart assistant to control this speaker without using your hands at all.
You mean you have to use your hands? That's like a baby's toy.
This is 2021. If you don't have a home smart assistant, maybe it's time to get one. So within the Sony Music Center app, you can link your Wi-Fi services directly to the speaker. And of course, you can group this speaker within Alexa or your Google Home setup, so essentially turning it into a multi-room speaker. And before we get into what I think of the sound quality, something that's very important to know about this speaker. If you want 360 reality audio, there is some stuff on YouTube. Yes, there is. But if you want to get the true 360 reality audio experience, you need to sign up for one of these services: Tidal, Noogs, Amazon HD, Deezer 360. There are a few options out there, but the range of music right now is quite limited because it's such a new file format. They have remastered some old songs, but they definitely don't sound as good as the ones that have actually been recorded in that format. And Sony were nice enough to throw in a 90-day trial to Tidal, so that's what I used to fully test this out at its maximum potential. And that takes me nicely onto the sound quality. So what's really stood out to me when it comes to listening to this speaker over a long period of time is the way that when you turn it up to a certain level, it really is quite unique the way the sound just seems to travel and carry around the house, not just in the room that it's in. That's assuming your doors are open. And if you're in a room and you're around a meter and a half, maybe 2 meters away from the speaker, you get really nice crisp high ends, and the bass for me isn't too overpowering. I've heard people say that it's a bit too bass heavy, but for me it's perfect. I like that kind of sound signature. But there is a sweet spot when you move away from the speaker, where the sound suddenly becomes really, really well balanced. You kind of can sense that left and right channel separation, But at that point, if you close your eyes and try to point your finger at where the sound was coming from, it's quite hard to get it right when you're in that sweet spot. And that's something that makes this speaker really special in my opinion. Straight out of the box, the sound signature for me is very good. I did mess around with the EQs over time to kind of customize it how I wanted it. It's a little bit bass heavy straight out of the box, but that's fine for the types of music I listen to. And I feel it's a little bit unfair with this particular speaker to talk about soundstage because of the way it's laid out. It really doesn't have a left and right channel. So to compare it to a conventional stereo speaker is a little bit unfair. If you compare it to other speakers that are sort of standalone speakers, this thing has some skills. Seriously, it's unlike anything I've listened to before. It's the first ever 360 reality audio speaker I've ever tested, so it's hard to tell you how good it is or how it stacks up against others, but hopefully I'll get to test out some more in the future once all of the other companies catch up and start making 360 speakers as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, and you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. And trust me, throw on a pair of headphones right now and listen to this video on screen. That will really open your eyes and you'll understand what 360 reality audio is all about. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be late.